DBJ here. We're going to talk about alignment yet again. And I'm going to talk about this subject of alignment in terms of a movie that I just saw, or seen thousands of times, but just saw in this context. It's the movie Troy. It's about the Greek armies led by Agamemnon, sails across the sea. They want to assault Troy, which has its great walls have never been breached before, and Agamemnon wants to steal all his riches. And so I'll go through each character, and the reason why I want to do this is because the strange thing in watching the movie is that I found that 8 out of the 9 classic alignments from Dungeons and Dragons are not only expressed in the movie, but the characters themselves actually have lines that dictate to the audience exactly what their alignment is. So I'll start out with the Greek army, and the Greek army is led by King Agamemnon, and the movie starts out. He's played by the actor Brian Cox, and Agamemnon has through force united all the rival territories in Greece, and he of course wants to sail across the sea and steal the riches of Troy. And in it, he points to himself like, I'm the one who united the armies. I'm the one who's made all of Greece mine. I am. Me, me, me. And he's definitely neutral evil in the greatest sense of the term. To the point where his greed is such that one of his hated enemies is on his side, who's Achilles, who's the next character, played by Achilles, played by Brad Pitt. Although it's not expressed in the movie, in the Iliad, Achilles is kind of an a-hole. I mean, he gets quite rapey. He only does things for himself. In the movie, Brad Pitt goes to his mom, and she says, well, you can lead a long life, but no one will ever remember your name. But if you go to war, joining Agamemnon's forces, you'll meet your demise, but everyone will remember your name. And for him, it's all about what he feels, his emotions. The movie even opens up with him, he's naked, laying with a bunch of ladies. He doesn't care. He completely hates all the rules, and especially Agamemnon and his rulership as king. Even his Myrmidon, his even troops, although they are loyal to him and want to fight on the side of the known man killer, the best swordsman in the land, he even kind of gives them like a second thought, like, you need to be loyal to me, but my responsibility to you only extends to how I feel on this particular day. And I would say his alignment would be chaotic neutral. Chaotic because he just doesn't care about the rules. It's just, hey, I do what I want. I know I'm the best at what I do. And the neutral part, because it's all about self-gratification. It's not really about saving lives or doing good, and it's not really about jealousy. It's just about his own gratification. The next character, who is loyal to and commands the armies of Agamemnon, is Menelaus, played by the actor Brendan Gleeson. And Brendan Gleeson is the one who, Helen is his wife. She's the most beautiful woman in all of Greece, and yet 2 minutes into the movie, once she leaves the room, he's already womanized some other chick, and yet he's pissed off when Helen is taken by Paris, played by Orlando Bloom. And Menelaus actually says to his brother, the great king Agamemnon, that I've been loyal to you, brother. I've tried to make peace with I knew I could not defeat the Troys, so I tried to make peace with them, but they have stolen my wife, and I want to destroy them. And of course, Agamemnon's like, it's a perfect excuse to go to war. Wow, yeah, get his wife back. They won't get it. That's cool. So, to me, Menelaus expresses himself as lawful evil. He's very loyal. He's loyal to his brother, to the country, but it's all about, what can I get? How can I abuse the rules, and how can I go better? And he even through his own actions tries to make peace with the Troys, because he knows, separately we're not going to defeat them, so we might as well just better to be friends with your, keep your enemies close and befriend them. The next character I want to talk about is Odysseus, and although he's a secondary character played by Sean Bean, who, strangely enough, doesn't die in a movie, as far as I know. I would consider him to be completely neutral, and he expresses his neutrality, complete neutrality, because after Agamemnon declares war and going to send all of his troops on ships across the sea, the Aegean Sea, to Troy, he comes to Achilles and convinces Achilles to come along. He's like, hey, Achilles, you're the greatest warrior. Why don't you come along? And his reason for it, although it's rather sarcastic, is that my wife wouldn't want me to go to war if you weren't by my side. And really, his only reason for having Achilles there is for his own self-protection. It's like, look, if I'm going to go to war, I'm going to have the guy who is the best swordsman ever, the best warrior ever, to be by my side. And Odysseus, if you know the other stories about him, he's a very intelligent guy, knows how to figure things out, and he knows, hey, war's imminent, there's nothing I can do about it. The least I can do is put all the odds in my favor. And there's a huge difference between selfishness and self-interest. Agamemnon is completely selfish. Hey, he wants everything. Whereas Odysseus is more self-interest. Yeah, I'll go to war, but I'm going to put the odds in my favor that I survive. The last four characters are from Troy. There's Hector, played by Eric Bana, and Hector is, to me, I think he's lawful good, but a pretty sad lawful good character. From the beginning of the movie to here's a spoiler, till he dies, he is completely aware of all of the political ramifications going on in the movie. He's quite perceptive. He knows how things are going to go, and he's extremely pragmatic. In a world where everyone worships the Greek gods, especially Apollo is pointed out prominently in the movie. He's just like, look, Apollo's not here, it's just us, and if we continue on this path, we will go to war. And he knows the actions of his brother Paris, played by Orlando Bloom, are going to lead to war. And he even makes he tries to figure ways to get around it. Like, he's like, well, we could send her back on the ship, but all Paris is going to do is follow her, and he's going to be dead, and there's still going to be war. We could send her on a ship by herself, but it's too late. Agamemnon's already going to use this as an excuse to get his brother Menelaus to wage war on us. So he tries to come up with ways to avoid it, and there's just no way. And he even tries to appeal to his own people in Troy, like, hey, listen, we are in really deep crap here. We need to do something about it. And unfortunately, they just don't listen to him. Next is Paris, played by Orlando Bloom. And Paris, he's young, he's foolish, and I believe he expressed himself as chaotic good. It's all about how I feel. Here's a guy who hasn't seen war, hasn't seen death. He's raised by royalty, and it's all about the ladies. It's all about how I feel, and whether you can truly claim that he's truly in love or not, it doesn't matter. I think in Paris's eyes, the minute he says he fell in love with Helen, who becomes Helen of Troy, he believed it, and it didn't matter that his one action put his entire nation at risk. Although I would say he's good, I believe his perception of his world is limited, and he's more controlled by his emotions, which would be his chaotic side. I don't believe he wanted war. I don't believe he kind of makes suggestions as to how he himself could solve the problem. Even though he has no skill in battle, he's like, hey, I'll just give myself up, or maybe, hey, we can run away and no one has to die. I think he has limited experience, but I believe that the chaos in him is the fact that he's just ruled completely by his emotions. Next is King Priam, played by Peter O'Toole, and he he is a typical lawful neutral. He's like, hey, I'm the king of Troy. Our walls have never been breached. We worship the gods. The gods will give us signs. Don't worry about it. We're just going to do things the same way we've always done them. We're going to, I'm going to listen to my council. They'll tell me what to do. Even at one point in the movie, Hector says, like, you see bird signs. Bird signs aren't going to save our lives. There's an army that's never been seen before at our front door. And King Priam's like, no, this is the way things have always been done. Please honor the gods. Very, very traditional and unmoving and unwavering in his belief that things will be the way they have always been. And the last one, and I'm really, really scraping the barrel on this one, but it's the only strong female presence in the movie, I feel, is Briseis. And Briseis, played by Rose Byrne, is she is a virgin acolyte of priestess of Apollo, and she is captured by Agamemnon and the other Greek troops. Achilles finagles a way to get her for himself, and in a rapey kind of way, even though she's essentially a prisoner of war and a slave. Of course, he has sex with her, and she magically changes her mind. But that being the case, Briseis, I believe, expresses neutral good. She is, at that point in the movie when she's with Achilles, she's both loyal to the gods, she's loyal to her country, yet she wants to feel and understand the size of the Greeks. Like, why do they want to take over her country? Why can't they just leave everyone alone? She actually fears for Achilles and his life, and she doesn't want to see bloodshed. She offers up herself and says, hey, there's no need for others to be killed. You can just take me and take my life if necessary so that no one else dies. And so I believe she expresses neutral good. I know it's kind of a little rambly on this one, but I thought I'd go back to the alignment thing. I love arguing about it because so many people see it from different points of view, and hope you find it enjoyable, and I hope the sound is good too, man, because Mayman said my sound cut out before. Hope I solved that problem. So thanks, guys. It's DBJ, and as always, be a creator, not destroyer.